The Frozen Guardian. Marcus Chen had seen his share of strange discoveries during his 15 years as a mining supervisor on Kepler 442b, but nothing prepared him for what his deep-core drilling team unearthed that cold Tuesday morning. The planet's perpetual winter had frozen the ground solid for as long as humans had been there, making every excavation a battle against ice and stone. "Boss, you need to see this," came the crackled voice of Jenkins through the comm. The veteran driller sounded shaken, which was unusual for a man who had worked the frozen wastelands for over a decade. Marcus made his way across the mining site, his boots crunching through the knee-deep snow. The wind howled across the barren landscape, carrying with it the metallic scent of exposed ore and something else, something ancient and unfamiliar. The massive drilling platform stood silent, its usual rhythmic pounding replaced by an eerie quiet. At the excavation site, a crowd of workers had gathered around the drill hole. Their breath formed clouds in the frigid air as they peered down into the depths. Marcus pushed through the group and looked down into the perfectly circular shaft they had been boring for rare earth minerals. What he saw defied explanation. Embedded in the ice, perfectly preserved and clearly visible through the crystalline frozen water, was a creature unlike anything in Earth's databases. It was massive, easily the size of a small spacecraft, with scales that shimmered even in the dim light filtering down the shaft. Wings were folded against its serpentine body, and its head was noble and fierce, even in its frozen slumber. "How deep?" Marcus asked, though he already knew the answer would be staggering. 2,000 meters, sir," Jenkins replied. "We've been drilling for 3 weeks to get to this depth. Whatever this thing is, it's been down there for a very long time." Marcus activated his portable scanner and pointed it down the shaft. The readings that came back made his breath catch. The creature was alive, barely, but alive. Its biosigns were so faint they barely registered, but they were there. Somehow, this massive being had survived in a state of suspended animation in the ice. "Get the thermal excavators," Marcus ordered. "We're bringing it up." The crew worked for 18 hours straight, using carefully controlled heating elements to melt the ice around the creature without damaging it. As more of the being became visible, Marcus began to notice details that made his scientific mind race with questions. The creature wore what appeared to be armor or decorative plating around its neck and legs, clearly artificial and clearly not of human origin. Strange symbols were etched into the metallic bands, symbols that seemed to shift and change when viewed from different angles. The craftsmanship was beyond anything humans had achieved, suggesting a civilization far more advanced than Earth's current technology level. As the final layers of ice were carefully removed, the creature's full magnificence became apparent. It was a dragon. There was no other word for it. The mythical beasts from Earth's ancient stories paled in comparison to the real thing lying before them. Its scales ranged from deep emerald to brilliant silver, and even unconscious. It radiated an aura of intelligence and power. Dr. Sarah Reeves, the team's xenobiologist, arrived on the next supply shuttle from the orbital station. She spent hours examining the creature, taking readings and samples of the surrounding ice. Her findings only deepened the mystery. "The ice formation suggests this creature has been frozen for approximately 2,000 years, she explained to Marcus as they stood in the hastily constructed shelter around the excavation site. "The preservation is perfect, too perfect. This wasn't natural freezing. Something or someone deliberately put this creature into suspended animation." Marcus studied the readings on her tablet. "Any idea what could do something like this?" "The energy signatures I'm detecting suggest technology far beyond our current understanding. Whoever did this had mastery over biological processes we can barely comprehend. They essentially stopped time for this creature." Over the following days, more discoveries emerged from the dig site. Buried near the dragon were artifacts that clearly belonged to the same advanced civilization. Crystalline devices that still held faint energy readings, metal alloys that defied analysis, and most intriguingly, what appeared to be a data storage device of some kind. The breakthrough came when Jenkins, working late one evening, accidentally dropped a thermal pack near one of the crystalline artifacts. The device began to glow and project what appeared to be holographic images into the air above it. The crew gathered around in amazement as the story began to unfold before their eyes. The images showed a vast empire spanning multiple star systems, ruled by beings that looked remarkably similar to humans, but with subtle differences: slightly longer limbs, more angular features, and eyes that seemed to hold an inner light. At the center of this empire was a figure that commanded immediate attention, a tall, regal woman with commanding presence who could only be the Empress the device referenced. The holographic record showed her bond with the dragon, a connection that went beyond simple companionship. The creature was her partner, her guardian, and her closest advisor. Together, they had ruled justly over countless worlds, bringing peace and prosperity to billions of beings across the galaxy. But then came the war. The images showed massive fleets of ships unlike any in the Empire's forces. These invaders were clearly from outside their galaxy, bringing with them weapons of unimaginable destruction. World after world fell to the advancing forces, and even the combined might of the Empire seemed unable to stop them. In the final images, the Empress made a desperate decision. Rather than let her most trusted companion fall to the invaders, she used an ancient technology to place the dragon in suspended animation and hide it on this remote world. The last image showed her standing over the creature's frozen form, tears streaming down her face as she activated the preservation field. "She saved it," Dr. Reeves whispered as the hologram faded. "She knew she was going to lose the war. So she preserved her dragon for a future time when someone might be able to wake it up." Marcus stared at the massive creature lying peacefully in the specially constructed chamber they had built around it. The weight of responsibility settled on his shoulders. Somehow, through cosmic chance, humans had stumbled upon this preserved guardian of a lost empire. The question now was what to do with it. "Can we wake it up?" he asked Dr. Reeves. She consulted her readings again. "Theoretically, yes. The preservation technology seems to be self-sustaining, but it's gradually weakening after 2 millennia. If we don't act soon, the creature might not survive much longer anyway." Marcus made his decision. As mining supervisor, he had the authority to make field decisions about discoveries on Kepler 442b. This was certainly the most significant discovery in human history, and he wasn't going to let bureaucracy and committee meetings let this ancient guardian die while waiting for permission from Earth. "Begin the revival process," he ordered. "If this creature has been waiting 2,000 years for someone to find it, then by God, we're going to give it that chance." The crew worked around the clock to prepare the revival chamber. Using a combination of human medical technology and careful reverse engineering of the alien preservation device, they created a system that could gradually bring the dragon back to consciousness while monitoring its vital signs every step of the way. As the process began, Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to change the course of human history. The dragon stirred slightly as the first stage of revival commenced, its massive chest beginning to rise and fall with deeper breaths. Whatever happened next, Marcus knew that humanity had just gained either a powerful ally or a dangerous enemy. The only way to find out which was to complete the revival and hope that 2,000 years of frozen sleep hadn't driven the ancient guardian insane. The creature's eyes began to flutter, and Marcus held his breath. In moments, he would be face to face with a being from a civilization that had ruled the galaxy when humans were still discovering fire. The dragon's eyes opened, revealing intelligence that seemed to pierce right through him. The real adventure was about to begin. The awakening bond. The dragon's consciousness returned slowly, like dawn breaking over a frozen landscape. Marcus watched in fascination as intelligence flickered behind those ancient eyes, eyes that held the depth of stars and the wisdom of millennia. The creature's breathing steadied, and its massive head turned slightly, taking in its surroundings with careful deliberation. Dr. Reeves monitored the readings on her instruments, her voice barely above a whisper. Neural activity is increasing rapidly. Whatever form of intelligence this creature possesses, it's far more complex than any Earth species we've studied. The dragon's gaze settled on Marcus, and he felt a peculiar sensation, as if something was gently probing the edges of his mind. Not invasive or threatening, but curious, like a careful knock on a door rather than a forced entry. Instinctively, Marcus relaxed his mental barriers, allowing the contact. Images flooded his consciousness, but not chaotically. The dragon was sharing memories with surgical precision, showing him glimpses of its past. Marcus saw the vast empire at its height, cities that floated among the clouds, space stations that dwarfed Earth's moon, and beings of countless species living in harmony under the Empress's rule. Then came the clearer image of the Empress herself. She was beautiful in the way that power and compassion combined often created, tall and graceful, with silver hair that seemed to contain starlight and eyes that held both kindness and steel. The dragon's love for her was evident in every shared memory, a bond so deep it transcended species and understanding. Marcus found himself sharing his own memories in return, Earth's history, humanity's expansion to the stars, their struggles and triumphs. The dragon absorbed these images with what could only be described as surprise and growing interest. "Can you understand me?" Marcus asked aloud. The dragon's response didn't come through speech, but through that same gentle mental contact. The words formed in Marcus's mind with perfect clarity. "I understand, small guardian. You speak the tongue of builders and dreamers. You're kind. They are young, but strong." Dr. Reeves stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overcoming her caution. "How long have you been asleep?" "Time moves strangely in the deep cold," the dragon replied, its mental voice carrying undertones of sadness. "I felt the turning of seasons, the shift of stars. 2,000 of your years, perhaps more. The preservation field has held but barely." Marcus knelt beside the creature's massive head. "We know about the Empress. We found the holographic records. She saved you." The dragon's eyes closed briefly, and when they opened again, Marcus could see the depth of loss there. "My Seraphina." She knew the Dark Ones would consume everything she had built. The Devourers came from beyond our galaxy, creatures of pure hunger and destruction. No reasoning with them, no negotiation, only consumption. "What happened to her?" Dr. Reeves asked gently. "She made the ultimate sacrifice." The dragon's mental voice grew heavier. "She used the Heart of Eternity, a device that could manipulate space and time itself, to seal the gateway the Devourers used to enter our galaxy. The energy required, it consumed her life force. She died ensuring they could never return." The chamber fell silent except for the hum of equipment and the dragon's deep breathing. Marcus felt the weight of cosmic tragedy in the creature's memories. An entire galactic civilization gone. Billions of beings lost to creatures that existed only to consume and destroy. "What is your name?" Marcus asked. "I am Valdris, last guardian of the Eternal Empire, keeper of the storm winds and—" The dragon paused, and Marcus sensed a flicker of something that might have been humor. "Friend to one human mining supervisor named Marcus Chen." Marcus couldn't help but smile despite the gravity of the situation. "How did you—" "Your memories, small guardian. I have seen your life, your dedication to your people, your quick thinking in dangerous situations. You have the heart of a protector. It is why you chose to revive me rather than leave me in the ice." Over the following days, Valdris grew stronger as the revival process completed. The dragon was enormous, nearly 50 feet from snout to tail, but moved with surprising grace. The mining facility's largest warehouse had been converted into temporary quarters, though it was clear this arrangement could only be temporary. Valdris shared more of his knowledge with the human team. The technology of the Eternal Empire was indeed far beyond human capabilities, but not impossibly so. The dragon explained concepts that could advance human science by centuries: faster than light communication, energy manipulation, biological enhancement techniques, and weapons technology that could defend against threats humanity couldn't even imagine yet. "Your species has potential," Valdris told Marcus during one of their conversations. "I see it in your memories and in the memories of your companions. Humans possess something rare in the galaxy: the ability to adapt quickly and the courage to face the unknown. These traits served my people well, but you have them in greater measure." Dr. Reeves was particularly fascinated by the biological enhancements Valdris described. "These genetic modifications your people used, they could help us survive in hostile environments, extend human lifespan, even enhance our cognitive abilities." "Carefully applied, yes," Valdris agreed, "but my people learned that enhancement without wisdom leads to stagnation. You must grow naturally as well as artificially, or you lose what makes you special." Marcus found himself spending hours in conversation with the ancient guardian. Valdris was not just a repository of advanced technology, but a being of vast wisdom and experience. The dragon had lived through the rise and fall of countless civilizations and could offer insights into governance, philosophy, and the nature of progress itself. "Your people are at a crossroads," Valdris observed during one such discussion. "You are expanding beyond your home world, discovering new technologies, encountering other species. The choices you make in the next few centuries will determine whether humanity becomes a force for creation or destruction in the galaxy." "What would you recommend?" Marcus asked. "Learn from my people's mistakes. The Eternal Empire grew too comfortable, too certain of its own superiority. We forgot that vigilance and humility are the prices of lasting peace. When the Devourers came, we were unprepared not because we lacked weapons, but because we had forgotten how to fight for what truly mattered." As Valdris recovered more of his strength, he began to demonstrate some of his capabilities. The dragon could manipulate electromagnetic fields with precision that made human technology look primitive. He could process information at speeds that would challenge quantum computers, and his understanding of physics allowed him to perform what appeared to be magic, but was actually highly advanced science. Most remarkably, Valdris could interface directly with human technology. By touching his clawed hand to computer terminals, he could access and process data at incredible speeds. Within hours, he had learned every human language, studied Earth's history in detail, and analyzed humanity's current technological capabilities. "Fascinating," he told Marcus. "Your people have independently developed several technologies that took my civilization millennia to discover. You have an intuitive understanding of quantum mechanics that is quite remarkable for such a young species." But it was Valdris's emotional growth that surprised Marcus most. The dragon had awakened filled with grief and loss, carrying the weight of his dead civilization. But as he spent time with the humans, Marcus could see him beginning to heal. The dragon was finding purpose again. "I have been thinking," Valdris said one evening as they watched the twin moons of Kepler 442b rise over the frozen landscape. "The Empress preserved me for a reason. She knew that someday someone would find me and wake me. I believe she hoped that my knowledge could help prevent future catastrophes." "You think she meant for you to help humanity?" Marcus asked. "Perhaps. Or perhaps she simply hoped that I would find a new purpose, a new people to protect and guide. Your species shows such promise, Marcus. You have the potential to become something greater than even the Eternal Empire achieved. Marcus felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders again. The dragon's offer of knowledge and partnership could transform humanity's future, but it would also bring new challenges and dangers. What would that partnership look like? He asked. Valdris's mental voice carried warmth and determination. I would share my knowledge carefully, helping your people advance without losing what makes them human. I would help you prepare for the dangers that exist in the galaxy, threats you cannot yet imagine. And perhaps, if you will have me, I would find a new home among the stars with your kind. Marcus looked at the ancient guardian, this being from a lost empire who had chosen to place his trust in humanity. We would be honored to have you as our ally, Valdris. The dragon's response filled Marcus's mind with the warmth of deep friendship and shared purpose. Then let us begin, small guardian. Let us see what wonders we can build together. As the days passed, word of the discovery began to spread through human space. Scientists, politicians, and military leaders all wanted to study Valdris or claim his knowledge for their own purposes. Marcus knew that soon his quiet mining operation would be overrun with visitors who might not have the dragon's best interests at heart. But Valdris had anticipated this. Your people's leaders will want to control me, to use me as a weapon or a tool, he told Marcus. Some may even fear me. This is natural and expected, but I will not serve those who seek power for its own sake. I will judge each of your people by their actions and their intentions. Marcus realized that humanity was about to face its greatest test. How they treated Valdris would determine whether they proved worthy of the dragon's knowledge and friendship, or whether they would repeat the mistakes of countless other species who had fallen to greed and ambition. The real challenge was just beginning. The New Alliance. The first of humanity's leaders arrived on Kepler 442b just 3 weeks after the discovery became public. Admiral Sarah Mitchell from Earth's United Defense Forces stepped off the transport shuttle with an escort of Marines and a team of scientists who looked more like intelligence agents than researchers. Marcus watched from the observation deck of the mining facility as they approached, knowing that everything was about to change. Valdris stood beside him, the dragon's massive presence somehow comforting despite the tension in the air. Your people move quickly when they perceive opportunity or threat, Valdris observed. This one leads warriors. I can sense the weight of command in her thoughts. Admiral Mitchell entered the converted warehouse that served as Valdris's temporary home. Her expression carefully neutral as she took in the sight of the ancient dragon. Her escort spread out in what they probably thought was a casual formation, but Marcus recognized it as a tactical positioning designed to control the room. I am Admiral Mitchell, she announced, her voice carrying the authority of someone accustomed to being obeyed. I represent Earth's governments in this first contact situation. Valdris studied her for a long moment before responding through the telepathic link he had established with all the humans present. I am Valdris. I represent only myself and the memory of those who are gone. Your warriors are frightened of me, Admiral. This tells me much about your intentions. The blunt assessment clearly caught Mitchell off guard. She gestured for her men to relax their positions, though they remained alert. We've come to discuss the implications of your presence here and how we might work together for mutual benefit. Mutual benefit, Valdris repeated, his mental voice carrying what Marcus had learned to recognize as the dragon's version of amusement. An interesting phrase. What benefit do you believe I offer, and what do you propose to give in return? Admiral Mitchell activated a holographic display showing star charts and ship movements. Your knowledge could revolutionize human technology. Our military analysts believe that with your help, we could develop defensive capabilities that would make Earth unassailable by any potential enemies. And offensive capabilities as well, I assume, Valdris replied. You seek weapons, Admiral. This is understandable but concerning. Marcus watched the exchange with growing unease. This was exactly what he had feared would happen. The dragon's knowledge was being viewed as a military asset to be exploited rather than a gift to be cherished. The galaxy is dangerous, Admiral Mitchell continued. We've encountered other species, some friendly, some hostile. We need to be able to protect ourselves. Valdris moved closer to the Admiral, his massive head lowering until he was at eye level with her. Mitchell, to her credit, didn't flinch, though Marcus could see the tension in her jaw. Tell me, Admiral, about the Zephyrian incident. Marcus saw confusion flicker across Mitchell's face. That's classified information. How do you... Your memory betrays you, Valdris replied gently. I sense the guilt you carry about that conflict. Your forces attacked a peaceful exploration vessel because you mistook their scanning beams for weapons targeting. 17 beings died because of that fear-driven decision. The Admiral's facade cracked slightly. That was a regrettable mistake. We've implemented new protocols. You have, Valdris agreed. But you learned those protocols through tragedy. This is not criticism, Admiral. This is recognition that your species is still learning how to interact with the larger galaxy. I will not provide weapons to beings who are still discovering the consequences of the weapons they already possess. Dr. Elena Vasquez, the head of Earth's Xenobiology Institute, stepped forward. Perhaps we should focus on scientific applications first. The medical advances alone could save millions of lives. Valdris turned his attention to her, and Marcus could sense the dragon probing her thoughts and motivations. You speak truth, Dr. Vasquez. Your intentions are pure. But tell me, if I provide medical technology that extends human lifespan to 500 years, what happens to your societies? What happens when the powerful can live for centuries while the poor remain mortal? The question hung in the air like a challenge. Marcus realized that Valdris wasn't simply withholding his knowledge out of caution. He was forcing humanity to confront the implications of advancement without wisdom. These are important considerations, Dr. Vasquez admitted. We would need to implement careful distribution protocols, ensure equal access. Would you? Valdris interrupted. Or would the technology become another tool for those in power to maintain their dominance? My own people faced this dilemma. We solved it by making enhancement available to all citizens freely, but that decision took centuries of social evolution to reach. Captain James Joe, from the Mars Colonial Authority, spoke up. What if we started smaller? Basic improvements to environmental systems. Better radiation shielding for space habitats. Things that would clearly benefit everyone. Valdris considered this, his great head tilting thoughtfully. A wise approach, Captain Joe. Your thoughts show genuine concern for your people's welfare. This is promising. Over the following days, more representatives arrived from across human space. Corporate executives who saw profit in alien technology, scientists who dreamed of unlocking the universe's secrets, politicians who wanted to claim credit for humanity's advancement, and military leaders who feared falling behind potential enemies. Valdris met with each group, patiently listening to their proposals and probing their motivations. Marcus watched the dragon navigate these complex political waters with skills honed by millennia of experience. Some visitors left disappointed, others intrigued, and a few seemed to gain a new perspective on their responsibilities. You're testing them, Marcus realized during one of their private conversations. I am evaluating them, Valdris confirmed. The Empress taught me that true power lies not in what you can do, but in understanding why you should or should not do it. Your species has tremendous potential, but potential without wisdom is dangerous. The breakthrough came when Dr. Amara Singh from the African Federation Space Program presented her proposal. Unlike the others, she didn't ask for technology or weapons. Instead, she asked for guidance. "We're planning a colony ship mission to the Tau Ceti system," she explained to Valdris. 12,000 volunteers willing to spend their lives traveling to establish humanity's first permanent settlement beyond our local cluster. We're not asking for advanced engines or weapons. We're asking for advice on how to build a society that won't repeat Earth's mistakes. Valdris was silent for a long moment, his ancient eyes focused on Dr. Singh with intense interest. "You seek wisdom rather than power. This is unexpected. We've studied the historical records of colony attempts," Dr. Singh continued. "Most fail not because of technical problems, but because of social breakdown. Factions form, resources are hoarded, leadership becomes corrupt. We want to do better." "Show me your plans," Valdris requested. Dr. Singh projected detailed schematics and social frameworks onto the warehouse's main screen. Marcus was impressed by the thoroughness of the planning. The colony ship would be a self-contained society with redundant systems, careful resource allocation, and governance structures designed to prevent the accumulation of excessive power by any individual or group. "These are well-considered plans," Valdris acknowledged. "You have learned from your species' past failures. But tell me, what happens when your children's children decide they want to govern differently? How do you preserve your ideals across generations?" Dr. Singh smiled. "That's exactly the kind of question we hoped you could help us answer." For the first time since his awakening, Marcus saw Valdris show genuine excitement. The dragon's mental voice carried warmth and satisfaction. "Dr. Singh, you and your team understand something that many advanced civilizations never grasp. The greatest challenge is not reaching the stars. It is remaining worthy of them once you arrive." Valdris agreed to work with Dr. Singh's team, sharing not advanced technology, but something far more valuable, the accumulated wisdom of a galactic civilization. The dragon taught them about sustainable social structures, conflict resolution mechanisms that could function across generations, and the importance of maintaining cultural flexibility while preserving core values. As word spread of this collaboration, other human leaders began to approach Valdris differently. Instead of demands for weapons or technology, they came with questions about governance, ethics, and long-term planning. The dragon responded to this change with increased willingness to share his knowledge. Marcus found himself serving as an intermediary between Valdris and the various human factions. His position as the person who had first awakened the dragon gave him unique credibility with both sides. More importantly, Valdris trusted him to understand the nuances of human politics while maintaining the dragon's principles. "You have become my translator," Valdris told him one evening as they watched the construction of a permanent habitat for the dragon. "Not just of words, but of intentions and meanings." "Is that what you need from humanity?" Marcus asked. "Translators?" "I need partners," Valdris replied. "Beings who can help me understand your people while helping your people understand the responsibilities that come with power. You have shown me that such beings exist among your kind." The turning point came 6 months after first contact, when the Rigel station crisis erupted. A space habitat in the Rigel system had suffered catastrophic systems failures, leaving 50,000 colonists facing death within weeks. Earth's rescue capabilities were insufficient to save even a fraction of the population in time. Admiral Mitchell approached Valdris again, but this time her request was different. "We're not asking for weapons or even advanced technology. We're asking for help saving lives. If there's anything you can do..." Valdris studied the situation reports and technical specifications. "I can provide energy manipulation techniques that could restore your habitat's power systems remotely. But this technology could also be weaponized to destroy enemy installations from great distances." "We understand the risks," Admiral Mitchell replied. "But we can't let those people die." "No," Valdris agreed. "You cannot. Dr. Singh, Captain Joe, Dr. Vasquez, you will oversee the implementation of this technology. Admiral Mitchell, your forces will provide support but will not have direct access to the energy manipulation systems. The rescue operation was a complete success. Valdris's guidance allowed human engineers to restore the failing habitat systems and save every life aboard Rigel Station. The technology was then carefully contained and studied by a joint international committee rather than being monopolized by any single military force. The success of the Rigel Station rescue marked a new phase in human-dragon relations. Valdris began sharing more advanced technologies, but always with careful oversight and built-in safeguards that prevented misuse. Humanity's leaders, for their part, began to appreciate the wisdom of gradual, carefully considered advancement. "Your species continues to surprise me," Valdris told Marcus as they watched the first test flights of human ships equipped with the Dragon's improved propulsion systems. "I expected you to demand immediate access to all my knowledge. Instead, you have shown patience and wisdom." Marcus smiled. "We're learning, not all of us, and not all at once, but we're learning." "The Empress would have liked your people," Valdris said, his mental voice carrying warmth and a touch of sadness. "She believed that wisdom could be taught, but only to those willing to learn. Your species has shown that willingness." As the months passed, Valdris became not just humanity's teacher, but genuinely a member of their community. The dragon formed friendships with individual humans, took interest in their personal lives, and even developed what could only be called affection for human customs and culture. "I have been thinking," Valdris announced during one of the regular briefings with Earth's leadership. "The Empress preserved me so that I might one day find a new purpose. I believe I have found that purpose among your kind." Admiral Mitchell, who had become one of the Dragon's strongest supporters, leaned forward. "What are you proposing?" "A formal alliance," Valdris replied. "I offer my knowledge and guidance to help humanity grow into the galaxy responsibly. In return, I ask for citizenship in your civilization and the right to help shape the future we will build together." The proposal sparked intense debate among Earth's governments, but the outcome was never really in doubt. Humanity had seen the benefits of partnership with Valdris and recognized the unique opportunity they had been given. 3 months later, at a ceremony broadcast across human space, Valdris became the first non-human citizen of the United Earth Federation. The dragon took a formal oath to protect and serve humanity while maintaining his role as teacher and guide. "Today marks the beginning of a new age," Valdris declared to the assembled representatives of humanity. "Not because I have given you advanced technology, but because together we have proven that different species can work as partners rather than conquerors and conquered." Marcus stood in the front row of the ceremony, watching his friend receive the recognition he deserved. The simple mining supervisor who had made the decision to awaken a frozen dragon had witnessed the birth of humanity's first true interstellar partnership. As the ceremony concluded, Valdris sought out Marcus in the crowd. "Thank you, small guardian, for giving me the chance to find purpose again." Marcus smiled at the ancient being who had become not just humanity's teacher, but his closest friend. "Thank you for showing us that the real treasure wasn't the technology you carried, but the wisdom to use it responsibly." Looking up at the stars visible through the ceremony hall's transparent dome, Marcus knew that humanity's future among those distant suns would be brighter because of the choices they had made. The dragon's knowledge would help them reach new worlds, but more importantly, Valdris's wisdom would help them remain worthy of the journey. The last guardian of the Eternal Empire had found a new people to protect, and humanity had gained not just an ally, but a guide who would help them avoid the mistakes that had destroyed countless civilizations before them. Together, they would write a new chapter in the galaxy's history, one built on partnership, wisdom, and hope.